Hi, today I would like to show you how we make our favorite dish. My kids love this dish. It's called pirozhki с капустой. Pirozhki with cabbage. It's a pastry that a lot of Russian-speaking people love. This is the way I prepare it. There is tons of different recipes in the world. I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of comments saying like this is not the Russian way or whatever. But I'm gonna just show you the way I am making it. My daughter-in-law asked me the recipe, and I will be showing it to you like I would show it to my kids. First, we have to prepare the filling. So today we will be making cabbage filling. This is my personal favorite and favorite of my family. You can make any filling you would like. The most popular one is boiled potatoes with fried onions. Um, so there's different options. So the one that we will be making today will be cabbage. For that, we will need, of course, cabbage and onion. We chop the onion the way you like it. For pirozhki, it should be smaller pieces because pirozhki are very small. So it's more like, I wouldn't say it's a dumpling, it's like a baked bread with the cabbage inside. So I chop them pretty small. Now we're gonna chop the cabbage. We cut it off and we chop them. This is how we chop the cabbage. And now we're gonna cook it. So in order to fry, we warm up our frying pan and we put some olive oil. Give it a couple minutes to warm and put your onions. Fry until golden. The onions are already golden. I'm gonna add our cabbage. I have probably about 4 or 5 cups of raw cabbage. If you like it softer, you can cover it with the lid. I am covering it with the lid and let it cook. Periodically, you mix the cabbage and watch so it does not overcook. As a seasoning to my cabbage, I usually add the I don't know if you can read it. So it's an all-purpose seasoning, but you can add whatever you like. And also I have dry dill. I added as well because I like the flavor of the dill. So I added my dill and vegeta, and of course I'm gonna mix it in. So our cabbage is ready. You see, I put it in a bowl. Remember, it was a full bowl, so it kind of like shrunk. um, and it has to be cooled down. You can put it in the refrigerator. But since I'm only starting to make a dough, and it will probably take about 45 minutes or an hour, also my cabbage will be cool, perfectly cool. We melt a stick of butter until it melts. Okay, so watch it. Our butter is melting. It's almost done. So for the dough, we will need active dry yeast, not instant yeast, active dry yeast. We will need 2 tablespoons of sugar. The stick of butter, I showed you how we melt it, and make sure that the butter is already cool. You cannot use any hot products when you are making yeast dough because yeast will be deactivated by the hot liquids. So make sure your butter is cool, but not solid again. 1 cup of warm milk, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, also room temperature will be perfect. And usually I don't measure my flour, so I will be making it, and I will let you know at the end how much flour I used. I usually fill the dough, so I measured approximately 4 cups of flour, and we will see how much the dough will absorb. And I always sift my flour. It becomes more airy, fluffier. If there are anything got into your flour, accidents happen, it will remove it. Okay, my butter is still a little bit hot, so I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator for maybe 5 minutes, and we will go from there. Okay, our butter cooled down, so we are starting to make the dough. So we have our yeast package, 7 grams. You add your sugar. We add our milk. As I said, milk should be warm, like lukewarm, but not hot. Just mix a little bit. Now we add our butter. We crack our egg. Usually try to crack your egg somewhere in a different bowl, just in case it's spoiled. So our egg is pretty good. We add it and also mix it together. And now we're gonna start adding our flour. So as I said, I sift my flour. So you sift and then you mix it. And you add more because the consistency is not what we need. And the dough should not be very firm, but it shouldn't be liquidy as well. So I will show you what I mean when we will finish mixing the flour. And I forgot to add salt, so whenever I'm gonna add more flour, I will add salt. It's already getting more thick. So I'm adding my flour. And I'm adding my salt. And we continue mixing the flour. And when it starts more difficult to use the spatula, I start using my hands. Yes, in Europe we use our hands. We didn't use any gloves or anything. So I'm mixing it, and that way I feel the dough. We don't want to make it too thick. I think like it's still sticky, but we're gonna change that. So basically you see how the consistency is. I will show you close up. The consistency of the dough is not super thick because we want it to rise. So right now we're gonna cover it and put it in a warm spot. So I have maybe half a cup of flour left. So most likely I used 3.5 cups of flour. And as I said, my dough is thick, but not firm. Okay. So now we're gonna cover it with a plastic wrap, or just you can use a towel. I like the wrap. And put it in a warm spot in your house. And don't disturb it for at least half an hour. And the dough should raise twice of the size. So We will see. Right now it looks like that in our bowl. We will see you in about half an hour. So 45 minutes later, our dough doubled. You see? Looks amazing. So we will put some flour on the surface. So I didn't mention, so we used 3.5 cups of flour, but it could be more for you. And we will need more for making the dough. So I'm taking it out. Look how pretty it is. Mm, smells amazing. So we're gonna incorporate more flour. Forget the name for it. How do you um my gosh, the dough is beautiful. We're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna leave it here, one half and the other one, and we're gonna roll. We roll the dough not very thin, so we flip it, dust it so it doesn't stick to your rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a bottle, like a glass bottle, or anything that helps you roll. Okay, and we're gonna make pirozhki. Like, it depends what size do you want. I like it smaller, but you can make, I will show you a couple sizes. So this will be really big pirozhok. So I cut the round piece. You see how big it is? Okay. And I have a smaller cup. You see how different it is, the diameter. So I will be making smaller one, but you can make whatever you want. So I cut these circles first, and you collect the rest of the dough, but you don't throw it away because we're gonna use it to make more pirozhki. We have our cabbage cooled down. We're gonna take, this is the bigger one. We're gonna take our cabbage and put it in the middle. Oops, sorry. And we kind of like, we're gonna fold it and stick together. Sorry, my English is not perfect. That's the way you can make it. I usually put it on a how to put it on a table, and you can also like kind of like braid it. So this is how pirozhok looks like. Okay, this is a smaller one, so you put a little bit less of cabbage, like this. You put your finger in the middle, you fold it, and you stitch, not stitch. Let me see the translation, how it says. And braid. You see, like the size. This is smaller, this is bigger, but it all depends what you like. So I continue making them to help pirozhok binds together, you put, when you bind it, and it doesn't stick, like you like boo, and it doesn't stick. Oops. You put your fingers in the flour and it binds perfect. Binding. I think this is the right word. Mhm. And like I said, the dough should be not sticky, but very like Play-Doh, kind of. So it's very manageable, but not sticky to your fingers. So we lay them on a parchment paper, on a baking sheet, and we're gonna cover it with a clean towel and let it rest for about 10 minutes. And meanwhile, we are gonna heat the oven 350 degrees. So those are the cuts, and we still have another part of the dough. So if you don't want to deal with the little pirozhki, and but you still want to make that, another version that we love, it's called pirog. Pirog, it's kind of like a bigger thing. So I'm gonna mix these cuts with the rest of the dough, and we're gonna roll the dough in a kind of like an rectangular thing. I would say, I don't know, like quarter of centimeter thin or thick. That way you don't have to deal with the little pirozhki. And then you put all of your cabbage and spread it all over the sheet. I have a little secret that I love personally, and I'm gonna show you, but you don't have to do that. I cut thin slices of butter. We place them randomly all over the pirog. Now we start rolling it. So we roll pirog and close it. Make sure we close the ends so the cabbage doesn't come out. Our pirozhki had some rest. Now we're gonna cover it with an egg wash, give them a golden color. So we break an egg. We mix it. We take a little brush and brush every pirozhok with an egg wash. As I said, it will give them a golden color. We preheated our oven for 350 degrees, and we will bake them for about 15-20 minutes. And we're gonna do exactly the same with pirog. It rested for a while, so now we're gonna cover it with an egg wash. Pirog, we're gonna bake a little bit longer, same temperature, 350, but we will bake it for about 30-40 minutes. Just check so it doesn't burn. So our pirozhki are ready, and I'm gonna pirozhok. Smells so good. Enjoy. And I'm gonna show you pirog as well.